Well, it's about damn time I got around to making this video. Shot the match actually last Sunday, but for various reasons I didn't get around to doing this until today. So, in case you're unaware, this is this year's Welsh Mountain, which is held at the New Holland Rifle Pistol Club. And since I moved to Pennsylvania, I've been shooting here. It's actually only my second time shooting here, but they've got pretty good facilities, so I quite enjoy it. It's a very physical event, and they advertised it as such, so there's a lot of running, a lot of carrying stuff as you're about to see. For example, on this stage you start off just shooting a pistol plate rack, then you had to climb over that rooftop section through a quote-unquote minefield with the clay pigeons, and then drag a tire with a fire hose attached to it before you get to the shooting area with rifle paper. And speaking of that, the rifle I chose to use, the pistol is just my CZ75 that I've been shooting for years. There's nothing special about that. But the rifle I'm using is my 223 VZ58, which is all squared away now. The charging handle isn't backing out anymore. I'll get into that in a separate video. But I also got a new flash hider for it, so that obnoxious Slovak brake is gone. And it is a fantastic shooting rifle. I couldn't be happier with it. The only thing I wish I could do is put my magnifier on it, but even if it's perfectly capable, as you'll see later on. This stage is basically a zigzag where you're shooting a bunch of rifle paper and then you knock down some steel. And the trick here was there was some paper you could get from very early on, so you didn't have to shoot it later, which you'll see me do. I'm also trying to use my MMS 2000 chest rig, the desert pattern one. This is different from the woodland one that I have. The woodland one has the magazine pouches canted to the side, and they're also more curved to accommodate VZ58 magazines. And but they still do work for the 223 caliber VZ58 magazines, since mine doesn't have the air mag adapter. It uses the dedicated rock and lock magazines. That thing, at first when I put it on, didn't feel too bad, but as the day wore on, I realized it was very stiff, restricted my movement a lot. Even though it doesn't flop around, a lot of stuff is held pretty well tight to your body, but that is a detriment as well. It's very tight to the body. This stage, you start off in that trailer shooting some clays, pigeons in no-shoots. I think I clipped one of them before you run out, disembark, and shoot some more rifle paper, and then going over these obstacles. You'll see what happens, and I'll stop talking when it does. Fall into the sticks, and then, well, you'll see. But the MMS 2000 stuff held me back quite a bit. I also have a nylon holster for the pistol, which is very difficult to get the pistol out of. And this is that's kind of what I'm talking about here. Graceful as a swan, I know. But the holster was a pain in the ass, as you see. I have a thumb brake strap on it, as well as an elastic band to keep it in place, because I don't entirely trust that button snap. So it was just pretty slow to get out, and also the magazine pouches for both the rifle and the pistol were not the most convenient. There's a Spanish buckle on the pistol mag pouches, and then a flap, and the rifle mag pouches were very tight and kind of in an awkward position. So getting rifle mags out especially was pretty difficult. Getting pistol mags out was just time consuming, not very hard. This one you start with the rifle slung wherever. That's another thing that I have to mention. At this match, there's no rifle dumping. Since you have a sling, you have to use it. So even when you're done shooting with a rifle, it has to be slung on you throughout the whole course of fire. There are pistol dump buckets though, for most of them, except for one stage where you do have to reholster the pistol after it's cleared. This one actually had a wall, which tripped a lot of people up. I got over it pretty easily, but Austin, the guy I was shooting with, did a straight-up back flop on the other side and didn't get up for about 8 seconds, which is pretty humorous, although we were all a bit worried until he got back up. And then just ends with some rifle paper. Overall, I had a lot of fun at this match. I'd definitely go again next year, especially considering the match fee is only like $50 for a match like this, and there's a prize table at the end. It's definitely worth going. Although I think next year I would use I'll still probably dress up as something, but I would go with some equipment that's a little bit more comfortable. It was also pretty warm that day, and I got pretty well cooked underneath all of my gear. See, this is my favorite stage of the match, since you start in the woods, out of the sun, shooting some pistol, steel, and paper. There's some steel torsos hidden in the woods that have flashers. Those only need one hit from the shoot boxes. And there's two everywhere else for paper. And the paper you engage from anywhere on this trail, but the steel has to be engaged from the designated boxes. That's the second one. There's 3 total. But at the end, there is some long-range rifle steel with flashers at 100, 200, 300, and 450 yards, which I was very proud of myself for getting. There were 4 targets in total, and I cleared the whole thing in 5 shots. I only had 1 miss with rifle. And to anyone who thinks that, anything past like 200 yards, you need an LPVO and you need 77 grain 5.56 in order to get hits, that's just not true, and I'm going to prove you demonstrably wrong in just a few seconds. And the VZ58 is absolutely cash money for this kind of thing. I haven't had this rifle for very long, but I've had my other VZ58 for a while. But this rifle in particular is set up in exactly the way that I like. The stock is great, the optic mount is great, the recoil is great. The mags I thought were going to be a bit iffy, but they've been 100% reliable so far. I have a lot of the clear polycarbonate ones, I plan on getting more. And I have a flash hydrant for the Glock now, so it's pretty much where I want it to be. And that shot right there was my only rifle miss. I got in 2 shots. So yeah, it's easier than it looks, boys. This is the last stage. Basically, you shoot a bunch of rifle paper from here. Just blaze it. Some people don't turn around too fast before unloading your rifle or else you'll get DQ'd. Almost saw a guy do that. And then you run over to the second bay while carrying these ammo cans for the physical challenge, and then just shoot a bunch of pistol steel. So again, I really enjoyed this match. It was a heck of a lot of fun. I will definitely go again next year. Not sure what I'd use. We'll see what guns I have by then. The only thing I didn't like was that they restrict you to intermediate calibers, so the most powerful thing you can have is 7.62x39, which is kind of meh. I would like to use my G3 or my FEL, or maybe an M1 if possible, but we'll have to see how things pan out. So the video is going to be over soon, so I'll just leave it at that. Thanks for watching, and go ahead and listen to these last few shots with pistol.
You're finished, unload, show clear.